My name is Susan Omboy Kibaara. I come from Kenya, in capital city called Nairobi, where I live and work. I also am a Kikuyu by tribe, where, well, when you talk about the project that I'm going to tell you about, is because mostly what happened is because Kikuyus are the ones who did it. So it's called Momo Project, which I happened to know about through a friend called Sue, who introduced me to a lady who was already working on it. The lady is called Olivia Stewart, and she was introduced to me online via email, and we happened to get to know each other. We first made a phone call after we got introduced, and we discussed a few things, and we started the project together, though she had already started the project by doing a lot of research on it. I happened to also know a friend called Mary Njoroge from Kenya. So when she told me what she was intending to do, I told her that I would not want to do it alone. So I introduced also Mary Njoroge into the group, and we started the project together. Mau Mau project is about fighting for Kenyan freedom, where Mau Maus are the people who are actually mainly used to fight for the freedom of Kenya when the colonialists came over. It was a period between the 1950s and 1960s, and actually, when Olivia told me about the project, we first started by laying down a strategy on how to find out the details that we have already in Kenya. So she asked me if we have any information that we have that is available that we can use, and we came up with a list of institutions that we were going to visit. We went to about 4 institutions and found out in the media, there's a media group called Standard Media Group, where we found quite a number of collection on Mau Mau information. We also went to Kenya National Museum, where we also found a lot of information on the Mau Mau. They have documentaries and also some maybe like clothing and the guns that were used during the Mau Mau era. We also went to Kenya National Archives and found that they had a lot of images, photographs on Mau Mau. After that, we have discussed and we have read wide about the Mau Mau, and our plan is actually to do an exhibition in Kenya, where I think it's supposed to start maybe in October, between September and October. We are going to have a collection. Right now we are strategizing on the collection and how we are going to obtain it, because it's not something that you can just go and get. We have to have maybe some agreements between us and the organizations, and also see how we can come up with the publicity of the project, whereby after that, if it's successful, then we'll go to maybe have an exhibition in Britain. Our key idea is that we want to eventually have a museum, whether we'll include it in the National Museum, maybe get some space to do it, and also have a museum in Britain. Olivia told us about what has been happening in Britain. They have researchers who have researched on this, but it's information that is not so well known by the Britons, especially the new generation, on what happened to us as Kenyans during the colonial period. I will talk about me having been a Kikuyu from the central region, where most of the Mau Maus were found. I was in a way affected because my grandfather, who is my father's father, was in the, I will call him he was not a Mau Mau, but he was a loyalist to the colonials. So what I call a loyalist is because when the Mau Maus were fighting the Britons, who are the colonialists, my grandfather was on the side of the colonialists, and there was a very big enmity between the loyalists and the real Mau Maus. And you'll find that the animosity that was happening between the Mau Maus and the loyalists was much more than what the Britons came to do to us, because they felt that these were traitors. And so my grandfather was one of the people who were named as traitors. And what happened to him is that at one point the Mau Maus got a hold of him and actually cut him into pieces and threw him into a drum, and they sent him to they left him at some riverbank. And I remember the story that I was being narrated to about him is that my grandmother was sent to go and see if he was the husband, that is. And when she went, they found the pieces, and actually they saw the head, and they discovered that it is my grandfather who was killed. So in a way, I was affected because I never got to meet him, and my father was not actually raised by him because by then he was 10 years old. Um, so with that, to me is like I'm getting to understand the Mau Mau, because it's not something that we talk about on daily basis. It's not something that we really want to think about because some of us were hurt by it. But it's something that now I'm trying to rediscover myself and learn into details what happened to us as Kenyans. Well, by that we've done this, and it's a project that I think is going to take us far. And already our friends and families are very excited about it. We've been sharing it with them. They're enthusiastic about it. And moving forward is we are looking forward to having the exhibition and trying to show the world and Kenyans what happened to us so that we avoid what happened to recur in the future. Well, we are excited about the project, and we hope that you're going to, in case of anything, we'll get back to you. Thank you.